تليفوني عالصامت تعرف إن أنا مش فاضي موضوع مش ضابط تعرف إن أنا مش فاضي تتكلم عن شيء غير ماني قدامي أنا مش فاضي تتكلم عن شيء غير ماني قدامي أنا مش فاضي تليفوني عالصامت تعرف إن أنا مش فاضي موضوع مش ضابط تعرف إن أنا مش فاضي تتكلم عن شيء غير ماني قدامي أنا مش فاضي تتكلم عن شيء غير ماني قدامي أنا مش فاضي.
The NYU Abu Dhabi Art Gallery is an intimate museum space in a university setting. At the Art Gallery, we present curated exhibitions of art and culture of local relevance and international significance. We also invite you to explore our exhibitions in the project space and around campus, as well as our activities both online and in our reading room.
The reading room, located next to the Art Gallery. It's a space all communities can utilize and learn more about a wide variety of different topics.
The project space is the NYUAD Art Gallery's auxiliary venue to nurture young emerging artists and curators.
We support a number of other art projects and activities beyond our exhibition spaces. We care for the permanent art installations on campus, like Hassan Sharif's Copper Wire, which welcomes guests to NYUAD.
We aim to create an atmosphere where everyone feels encouraged to share their thoughts and experiences.
We hope that you will visit us online and in person to discover our exhibitions, events, and publications. We look forward to welcoming you.
First, so we welcome you all to here, and we welcome the artists. We have 4 bands represented on the stage to share with you a very beautiful conversation. So we welcome you officially for joining us at this event of the stage. My name is Lemma, and I'm the Associate Director of External Relations and Partnerships at the Art Center. This evening's conversation, Finding a Voice Between Tradition and Contemporary, is presented in partnership with NYU Abu Dhabi Art Gallery and NYU Abu Dhabi Career Development Center. This series, as you mentioned, is part of the stage, which also includes other activities like community dinners, which you will be attending, visits to NYU Abu Dhabi classes, which happened today and were very successful, as I heard, post-show Q&As, and the arts chats. To know more about our Off the Stage event, you can sign up to our newsletter or go to our website and click on the Off the Stage tab. So we are finally thrilled to welcome singer and leader of Algeria's Lemma, Souad Asla. Musician, composer, and band leader of CGS, Mauro Durante. Band leader of Korean shamanic folk pop group ADG7 and lead artist Kim Yakde. And Somali singer and band leader Sahra Halgan. This conversation will be moderated by Chico Park, our amazing producing intern and NYU Abu Dhabi senior student.
So I just want to start, I'm Bill Reagan, the Executive Artistic Director. I want to first start also by thanking the Korean Cultural Center, who are our partners in bringing ADG7 here to perform, and all of the artists who have traveled from very, very far, and some after talking about this show for about 3 years. We've been trying to bring many of these artists here. So we're grateful for everybody for the determination to come here to Abu Dhabi. The Barzakh Festival is very important to us, to me personally, and this topic of moderating between the traditional and the contemporary has been one of the central themes of the festival from the beginning. And one of those reasons is because it's one of the major discussion points in the UAE, in a country with very, very deep history, but is only 51 years old and has modernized very quickly. Those questions of how you can hold on to and retain your traditional roots, but but really be in dialogue with the entire world in a very contemporary way, is a very key question here in the UAE. And what I love about the Barzakh Festival is that we see there are so many different answers to how you can do that. There's no one way, and I think each of the artists and what they bring is sort of an offering for another approach to answering a question that many of us are sharing from around the world. So I just say that to sort of frame the festival and tonight's panel. And now I'm going to, actually I'm going to ask the first question, and then this is the softball question. But I'm going to just ask each of the artists to very briefly, because we have so many of you, just introduce yourself and your music to the audience so they have a starting point to kind of understand what your musical cultural project is. And so we'll start on the end from Somaliland, Sahra Halgan.
Moi, je m'appelle Sahra Halgan. Je viens d'un pays qui n'est pas reconnu comme la police internationale, qui s'appelle Somaliland. Et ma musique, c'est à la fois traditionnelle et moderne, et mélangée avec d'autres musiques.
So, Sahra Halgan, she comes from Somaliland, which is a country that doesn't exist because it's not recognized yet by the international community. And her music really comes from the tradition of Somali culture, but it's mixed with more modern influence. That's all for the moment.
Hi everybody. Je m'appelle Souad Asla, je suis algérienne, je viens du sud d'Algérie, du désert. J'ai constitué ce groupe que j'ai appelé Lemma, un groupe 100% féminin, pour une seule cause, sauvegarder ce riche patrimoine qui est chez moi, qui est dans le désert, qui est en voie de disparition. C'est un peu un travail que je fais pour la sauvegarde de ce patrimoine, parce que j'ai remarqué qu'il n'y a pas eu énormément de travail dans mon pays pour sauvegarder nos traditions et nos musiques traditionnelles. Sinon, je suis auteur-compositeur, je compose ma musique. Lemma, c'est du pur traditionnel, mais dans ma musique, je mélange plusieurs, je m'inspire de la tradition, mais en même temps, il y a du jazz, du reggae. Je mélange plusieurs styles musicaux.
Yeah. My name is Souad Asla. I'm Algerian and I come from the desert. Actually, it's in the southwest of Algeria. And I formed this band, Lemma, by gathering the women who were playing really traditional pieces, who have a traditional heritage, and I did it first of all to really keep alive this heritage, because I was seeing that it was disappearing and that my country didn't work to preserve it actually. But on the other, so this is purely traditional Lemma, and on the other side I'm also an author and composer, and I have also my own band actually, and in that band I get inspired by tradition, but I really mixed this tradition with jazz and reggae and other styles, so I go more towards modernity with this project.
Hello, I'm Mauro Durante. Our band is called Canzoniere Grecanico Salentino, CGS. They get it wrong even in Italy, so. We are 8 artists in the band. We come from the south of Italy, from Puglia region, which is right at the southeast, the hill, the Italian route, more specifically from Salento, which is the area which is more the south. And we specialize basically in representing in a modern way our traditional music was used as a form of music and dance called pizzica, or some other functions, taranta. and it's our own blend of the southern Italian families of the tarantellas.
네, 저는 한국에서 온 김약대라고 하고요. 저희는 한국의 전통 악기들을 저희 구성원들은 다 전통 악기를 연주하고 있고 저희가 악단 광칠이라는 이름을 갖고 있는데 마지막 광칠이 광복 70주년이라는 의미예요. 그래서 초기에 북한에서 행해졌던 지역에서 있었던 굿 음악을 가지고 음악 작업을 했고 그 음악으로 뭔가 지금 대중적인 음악적인 어법들을 조금 더 섞어서 지금의 사람들한테 좀 더 다가가는 음악을 만들려고 하는 그런 밴드입니다.
Hello, my name is Kim Yakde. Is that right? Me and my band members play traditional Korean instruments. And the name Akdan Kwangchi is ADG7 in English, so they take the first letter of each word. And the end, Kwangchi, means 70th anniversary of National Liberation Day in Korea. So that's how they named the band. And they also add, their band plays music that is like a mix of modernist and also shamanistic music, which comes from northern part of Korea. So it's a mix of both.
Thank you everyone for your introductions. And I have a common question for all of you again, and I will start with Mauro. Your website lists the suggested music as a fascinating dichotomy between modernity and tradition. I wanted to know more about the artistic process. What elements do you decide to keep? What new elements do you bring in? And kind of what makes the music come?
Well, we are using some of our traditional instruments, such as the most important, the most recognizable instrument is the tamburello, which is the southern Italian frame drum, and then diatonic accordion, which is called organetto. Also we use bouzouki, other instruments that are traditional, linked to our and other traditions. And also we feature, when dancing, some of the traditional steps that were used in the dance. The other element which is in continuity with tradition is the use of the dialect, Salentino, of our region. We're not speaking most of our songs, singing them in Italian, but in our dialect, even when we write the new ones. Because also that dialect is still being spoken where we live. It's not like some sort of remnants in the past. And then we blend them with our own creativity, whatever we think it works well for the project, musically, artistically, conceptually. And I wouldn't know who is, the right balance, but we try to be as respectful as possible toward the tradition, but on the same page, when we feel something works well, it's good and pleasurable to us, and we go on in that direction.
What was the question?
음악을 하실 때 전통적인 방식들과 새로운 거를 혼합해서 하시는데 어떤 부분을 가져올 것이고 어떤 부분을 좀 새로운 것을 엮을 것인지 그런 프로세스에 관해서.
가장 중요한 과정 중에 하나는 전통이라는 것을 어떻게 규정할 거냐였던 것 같아요. 그거는 계속 고민하고 있는 중이고, 그 와중에 가장 중요하게 생각하는 거는 저희는 일단은 소리였어요. 전통음악이라고 하려고 했던 것이 전통의 소리였던 것이고, 그 전통의 소리들을 구현할 수 있는 것들은 한국의 악기였고 한국 사람들의 목소리, 한국 전통음악을 전공했던 사람들의 목소리인 것 같아요. 이거를 일단 기본으로 저희는 가지고 있어요. 그래서 그거를 계속 힘들지만 되게 지켜나가려고 쓰고 있는 중이고, 여기에다가 다른 것을 적합한 게 사실은 조금 저희가 2015년에 처음에 만들어서 여러 가지 작업을 하다 보니까 그 샤머닉 펑크라는 것도 외국인이 붙여준 이름이고, 옛날에 저희가 이제 뉴욕에 갔었을 때 이제 케이프 팝이라는 것도 외국 사람들의 시선에서 그렇게 이름을 붙여줬었던 걸 봤을 때 뭔가 팝적인 것들을 섞으려고 해서 나온 결과들이 좀 지나고 보니까 어떤 때에서는 좀 펑크 음악 같기도 하고 되게 한 70년대 소울 음악 같기도 하고 이런 게 많이 들더라고요. 근데 저희가 사실 그런 걸 잘 알았던 건 아니고 그냥 국악을 전통을 어렸을 때부터 공부를 하면서 대중음악을 많이 듣고 자라는 세대거든요. 그래서 그런 감각으로 좀 더 이렇게 친숙하게 만들려고 했던 거예요. 그래서 리듬골이 사실 많이 바뀌고 이 안에서 이제 아까 말씀드렸던 악기로 구현할 수 있는 소리들을 좀 지켜나가려고 하는 어떤 틀들이 점점 잡혀지는 것 같아요. 그걸 지키면서 새롭게 이제 대중의 어떤 사운드들이나 형식들을 가지고 와서 음악을 만들어 보는 거죠.
First of all, he mentioned that the biggest dilemma that they had was how can they define something as traditional? So that's a question that they're still discussing and also like contemplating about. And they kind of decided that the main point in what is traditional is the sound. So like the sound of what makes Korean traditional music is like Korean people's voices, Korean people's instruments, sound. So they really put the emphasis on that. And he also said that because they grew up listening to like Western music, or they were exposed to other countries like pop, so that kind of like naturally also blended into their own like traditional music. So that's how they kind of added a new element to what is Korean.
Par rapport à mon travail, comment je perçois entre tradition et modernité, je m'inspire de la tradition, c'est les racines pour moi. Je pars de la tradition, de ce qu'on m'a appris, ce qu'ont appris mes parents, mes grands-parents, ce que j'ai vu dans mon pays. Ça, c'est la base. Après, pour aller sur d'autres musiques, c'est par rapport à mes inspirations, c'est-à-dire mes différents voyages. Quand je pars dans un pays où quand il y a une musique qui m'intéresse, par exemple, j'adore la salsa. J'ai été à Cuba pendant plusieurs années. J'ai joué avec des musiciens. J'adore la tarentelle. Je vais souvent en Italie pour travailler la tarentelle, et c'est ça qui me donne l'inspiration pour rajouter des musiques différentes. Et pour moi, la racine, c'est comme un arbre. Les racines sont très importantes, parce que si on n'a pas de racines, le vent peut nous emporter très vite. La racine, c'est la base. Après c'est les inspirations, c'est mes voyages, c'est mes rencontres aussi avec les personnes qui me font créer une musique traditionnelle, entre la tradition et la modernité.
So I said that she, first of all, of course, got inspired and is inspired by the tradition, the one she inherited from her parents and from the land where she was born also, and then from there she goes. Of course, she's really inspired by the travels she made, by also the encounters she made. So, for example, she loves salsa, so she went to Cuba, and she's really attracted to tarantella, so she travels there too, and each time actually she gets inspired by other cultures and sounds that nourishes actually the basis, which is the tradition. And she says something also beautiful, which is like tradition is like the roots of the tree, and if it's not rooted, any wind could not smash but make this tree fall, or I don't know how to say it, if you understood. Voilà, so it's for her, that's how she conceives that.
Pour nous, en tant que Somalilandais, notre culture, c'est... Les gens, ils peuvent se dire facilement je t'aime, mais mon culture à moi, en tant que Somalilandais, on ne peut pas se dire comme ça, mais en chanson, on peut se dire que je t'aime, ou on peut transmettre un message par la poésie. Et tout ce qu'on fait, nous, les chansons, on chante pas avec l'instrument parfois, mais les seuls instruments culturels qu'on chante avec, c'est la lutte. Et ouais, c'est un pays où tout peut passer par la poésie, quelle que soit la situation. Et si les chansons servent à rencontrer les gens ou connaître les gens, connaître le pays, nous, ça nous a servi pendant la guerre de soigner et rencontrer notre pays. Tout passe par là. Alors, on a évolué, on a dit, chacun garde son identité. Moi, je garde la mienne. Maëlle garde son identité de rock. Henry qui va garder son instrument de Mali, parce qu'il a étudié à Mali. Et Régis, il garde aussi son... Il reste en France. Il garde la culture française.
Yeah, so first she said that music in Somaliland culture it has really a strong function, more than just entertainment. It's used to spend a message, like you can't say like in Western music, I love you in a song. You have to go through poetic forms, but it also to tell more politics message. Everything is going through the poetry and the traditional music. It's only vocals, percussion, and wood. So that's the original form. And the way, and she said also that during the war, she participated at this war, the music was very important as she used to sing to cure the injured. Yeah, the injured. She only had the songs to cure that, and also to just to fight. So this sense of the music, this functional music, is very strong in Sahra's music, and the way that she plays it now, and she makes it growing in different ways. She said that she keeps her own identity, and each musician she plays with, the three of us, we bring our own identity. I can just add that we do it, but we now for more than 10 years that we play together, we know a lot of traditional music, so we understood some codes that has to be respected, but it gives us a great freedom of creating something with that. And
thank you. And from Souad's response, something I found interesting was that you like tarantella, so you traveled to Italy. And when I was doing research on your music, I also found out that your music also has some kind of spiritual or transcendental aspects to it. I was wondering if you could comment on that, and also for Mauro, the spiritual aspect of your music.
J'ai compris la moitié, mais la fin.
Oui, de commenter comment on peut dire en fait éventuellement aussi spirituel. That's it, huh? How spiritually also, how it's also the last part of the question. It's like how nourished by the spiritual part. That's it.
La spiritualité dans notre musique, surtout la musique qui vient du désert, c'est naturel parce que je pense que ça vient le fait qu'on soit, c'est le cadre qui s'y apprête, les dunes, le ciel, qu'on peut toucher les étoiles, on a l'impression de pouvoir toucher les étoiles avec la main tellement que c'est magnifique. Et dans cet endroit, la spiritualité, elle est vivante. On voit tout ce qui nous entoure, c'est que, je perds le mot, c'est la création de la divinité. Mais il y a beaucoup, c'est pour ça qu'on chante des louanges, on chante beaucoup de louanges, on est reconnaissant d'être en vie et d'être sur cette terre-là. Par contre aussi, il y a par exemple comme la musique gnawa, il y a de la spiritualité, mais dans les chants c'est presque une musique païenne. Du coup on essaye de trouver l'équilibre entre la spiritualité et les choses naturelles.
She says that the spirituality actually is like almost natural when you live in the desert and you're like, in a way, what she meant, you're so small, facing all these elements. You can touch the stars. You're like in a very immersive environment in a way, you know. So it comes naturally. This question of spirituality, and it's present in the music also. And she said, on the other hand, like in Gnawa music, it's also like rituals, you know, but it's not only spiritual. But voilà, that's it. So the spirituality is maybe something inherent. Je sais pas comment on dit inhérent, mais tu vois, it's like something that is part of us. That's what she meant. You know, it's not conceptualized, but naturally.
Juste, je rajoute quelque chose. C'est dans cette spiritualité, on n'a pas besoin d'avoir une religion musulmane ou chrétienne. Juste, c'est une musique qui te rapproche de l'univers, en fait. C'est pas une question de vraiment religion. C'est vrai qu'on chante des louanges, les prophètes et tout, mais c'est plus rapprocher de l'univers. C'est pour ça qu'un non-musulman peut comprendre nos chansons et peut adhérer à nos chansons. On n'est pas obligé, on ne chante pas que pour les religieux. C'est pas des chants religieux pour moi, c'est des chansons qui te mettent en connexion avec chacun. Il y en a qui croient, les musulmans croient en Dieu, il y en a qui croient au soleil, qui te mettent en contact avec l'univers tout entier. Et pour moi, c'est ça qui fait rassembler les peuples. On n'est pas obligé d'être tous, avoir tous la même religion. C'est ça la richesse.
And she says also that it's not a religious issue actually, because they do a lot of praise, and you know, for Lemma, for example, and, you know, but for her it's really something that goes far beyond religion, and it's more related to the universe. This question, and it's she says that's why people who come from other religion or have other kind of beliefs, they also are touched and understand actually this energy.
In our culture is basically really similar, almost the same thing, because there are of course songs which are, you know, clearly religious songs, devotional songs, I mean in the tradition, but also even songs that would appear to be non-related to spirituality then at the end of the day you can say they actually are. Because when you're singing and showing, basically making bigger a love for someone, and you're singing about that love, yes, you're singing and you're directing the love to that specific person, maybe it's a woman, but then you're also in a way transcending that specific love and addressing the love to Mother Goddess, and again to the earth and to this idea of connection, which is spiritual. And also in our tradition there was this ritual or association called Tarantism, where the function of our music and dance was a healing function, therapeutic function. And there was a way of basically, nowadays we can translate that power in basically the ambition and desire to be more connected, to heal each other together through the powerful meaning of dancing together, which is a strong metaphor.
And also we can't leave out A7 with spirituality. In the Korean, what you guys did, Korean traditional folk music? So Korean traditional music has the spirit of the Koreans, but also you guys do specifically kud, which is shamanistic gifts.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how that relates and how it relates to
굿과 노래가.
그리고 또 한국인의 어원이나 담겨 있잖아요. 국악에 그거가 음악의 완성이나.
한국은 사실 크기가 되게 작은 나라고 그나마 이제 위아래로 갈려서 작은 나라인데 제가 생각하기에 전통 음악에서 되게 다양한 종류의 장르를 가지고 있고 각가지 장르마다 소리들도 좀 다르게 지금 저한테 전해지는 것 같아요. 근데 한국의 굿이 좀 특별한 지점은 물론 앞에서 얘기했던 것처럼 되게 자연적이고 되게 영적이고 이런 것들도 물론 있지만 특히 한국에서의 정말 큰 굿 같은 경우는 사람들과 같이 노래하고 즐기면서 그거 자체로 내일을 살 수 있게 하는 에너지들을 서로 위로하면서 갖는 거였고 그거는 마치 페스티벌처럼 진행이 되는 거고 그런 상태에서 사람들과 어떤 연결들이 돈독해지면서 그거 자체가 큰 위로로 사람들에게 다가가는 지점이 있거든요. 그래서 큰 곳은 사람들이 많이 모이고 며칠 동안 진행되고 그런 경우들이 있었고 그 부분에 저희는 주목을 했던 거였어요. 그것이 지금의 콘서트장에서 사람들이 같이 같은 노래를 부르면서 서로를 위로하는 듯한 그런 것과 다르지 않았고 저희도 그런 여러 가지 굿들도 있고 다른 음악들도 있지만 굳이 굿을 가지고 지금 하고 나누고 싶어 하는 부분은 바로 그 지점이고
He mentioned that Korea is a tiny country, and even within that tiny country, it's divided in half, so it's North Korea and South Korea. But although the country is so small, there's so many different types of traditional Korean music, which is what he feels like. And also, he talked about the shamanistic music. So the reason why he thinks Korean shamanistic music in particular is really exceptional is because it's more like a festival where people, if it's a really big scale, people would come and they would like dance and they would sing along together. So it's more like a festival where people can connect with each other and also empathize. So he said when they're because they're making that kind of music, when they're doing concerts or performances, people would come and they would like feel the connection through the music, just like how shamanistic musics are in Korean traditional culture as well. So yeah, that's how.
Well, actually, let's also hear from Sahra, just in terms of the role of, is there a spiritual dimension to the music that you're performing also?
Non,
J'ai déjà vu surtout les paroles. Nous, on chante, il y a des religions, parce qu'on chante des chansons de religion. Et il y a des chansons nomades, comment les gens nomades peuvent se faire draguer. Et chanter au milieu de nuit, ça veut dire 3 heures du matin. Et quand les hommes chantent environ là où il y a des familles nomades, qui a des filles d'habits. Et les femmes, à ce moment, les filles sachent qu'il y a un homme qui veut se marier. C'est plein de choses, mais je ne peux pas le dire comme ça.
Surtout la dimension, c'est que
ouais.
Toutes tes chansons, en réalité, tu...
Et oui, il y a des chansons aussi, quand il y a de la guerre, après la guerre, il faut se réconcilier. Il y a aussi il y a des chansons pour ça. Et il y a des chansons aussi pour se battre contre les dictateurs, des choses comme ça. Il y a des chansons aussi pour les femmes, parce qu'ils ont des droits. Et puis, les surveiller qu'on doit garder le droit des femmes aussi. Eh ben, il y a beaucoup de choses, mais je dois faire comme ça. Allez-y, monsieur.
So, first, he said that there are some religious aspects in some of Somalian music, but with Sahra, it always turns into politics. So it's all connected with what she said before, that the function of music is very strong. It really, for example, music is used during a war, but also after a war when the enemy has for reconciliation in this, how do you call this? When there are traditional form of organizing the society between tribes, there are kind of councils, and inside this kind of councils, there are music and poetry and songs are used to end conflicts, for example. So that is very strong. And also, one thing that is very important for Sahra is it's about the rights of women, the power of women, and I think it's spiritual. Somehow it's not only politics.
So one of the phrases that keeps coming up is the idea of the function of the music, whether the function is a spiritual function, whether it's about healing, people who have been injured in the war, or spiritual healing, or otherwise. And in many cases, the function speaks specifically to people who are coming from your own culture. So I'm curious now, as you've all become international touring artists and bringing your music to audiences where that function is not so clear, how do you adapt your music so that it functions to an audience that is as diverse as an audience in Abu Dhabi or Womex or WOMAD or Global Fest, and do you keep a separate repertoire for your home culture versus for an international kind of outside audience? And anybody who wants to answer can answer, and then afterwards we'll open up to the group.
I can go.
Okay. While the translation's happening.
Yeah, basically. So, basically, we don't even try to pretend we are doing something traditional when we go on stage, because our songs, our folk songs, were, as you said, linked 100% to a specific function. So if somebody needed to deliver a message of love, they would use a serenade, or a mother singing a lullaby to her child, or again a devotional song in certain times of the year where you will express maybe devotion to that saint, and so on. And of course, the function of music for dance. So when we go on stage, we are already, by definition, betraying all of those functions, but one, the dancing function. Because when we are playing dance pieces and people are dancing to our music, that's still there. But our aim changes. It becomes aesthetic. So basically, we want to give you a good show, a good performance, and we would like you to feel good about that. So it's the same function as any rock, pop, jazz band. It changes perspective, and we don't even pretend that we're doing something different. What we can carry in continuity with the tradition is not only some, peculiarities of the music, of the dance, of our, artistic project, but it is through the function of the dance, this idea of symbolically getting people together. So that's what we really try to do, because we are lucky enough to be touring all over the world. So we are encountering many different cultures and languages, and even when we started to go far from our villages and areas, they wouldn't understand our dialect in the rest of Italy. So we are going to transcend the linguistic barriers, to transcend any kind of cultural barrier, but even this kind of sort of separation when we're representing folk material which comes from the past. So we are even playing around with the concept of time itself. But in a way, any happy and smiling and sometimes sweaty face after our shows, every face that we meet smiling at us, that's our real success. The idea of having shared some time together which is meaningful and which made us all feel good.
Pour moi, je pense qu'il n'y a pas de différence quand je chante dans mon milieu, par exemple dans mon pays, où les gens comprennent ce que je dis, mon langage, et quand on chante ailleurs. Ce qu'on aime transmettre, c'est cette force de cette musique qui est la simplicité. C'est des musiques traditionnelles, c'est des musiques simples, comme souvent on dit que c'est des musiques qui parlent directement à l'âme. Du coup, on essaye de dialoguer avec le public, d'essayer de faire passer cette simplicité et de travailler sur le lien, créer le lien entre nous. Comment on le fait? J'explique un peu d'où vient cette musique, ce que je chante, et je rejoins mon ami, et surtout sur la danse. Sur la danse, parce qu'on peut emmener le corps, on n'a pas le langage du corps, on n'a pas besoin de... c'est universel. Du coup, avec la danse, on peut emmener le public, on lui apprend un ou deux pas, et après on demande au public qui se lâche, et souvent ça fonctionne. Et moi je crois que pourquoi ça fonctionne, tant qu'il y a la simplicité et qu'il y a l'envie de partager, même si on ne parle pas la même langue, même si on ne vient pas du même pays, il y a toujours une alchimie qui se crée, et après on fédère, et on sait très bien la musique adoucit les mœurs, comme on dit, et c'est le seul langage où on peut se rencontrer. Alors tous les deux, on vient de pays différents, personne ne connaît la langue de l'autre, mais si on écoute un morceau, on peut avoir les mêmes sensation. Et c'est ça la puissance de cette musique.
Souad says that she doesn't act differently, actually. When she plays the music back home or outside, for her it's the same. Because they play traditional music, like if we talk about Lemma, for example, they play traditional music. For us, it's simple music, and it talks to the souls, and it's just about the energy, and would say also the generosity, but the energy and the link that you can create. It takes time sometimes, and you have to bring the public to get into that, and to bring it to dance, for example, by dancing yourself or showing some, some pads. Je sais pas comment on dit des pas, c'est pas voilà. But for her, I mean, there's not really a difference, and the important thing is to create this space of communion and, being together, actually.
Et quand je veux préciser quelque chose, quand je dis c'est une musique simple, ça ne veut pas dire que c'est une musique facile. On a des rythmes très 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 complexes qui sont propres, des rythmes complexes, mais où est-ce qu'elle est cette simplicité? Elle est dans le partage, en fait. Cette envie de partager, c'est pas une musique qui demande beaucoup de réflexion parce qu'elle est naturelle, mais c'est pas simple, c'est pas facile.
When she says it's simple music, I mean, she wants to make a precision. It's not a question of being simple music. The rhythms are very complex sometimes, but it's just a question that it's like comment c'est une musique qui, it's like it comes from the tradition, and it's just as if she said it was just natural in a way. C'est ça que tu veux dire. Voilà. So it has its own force in this. It's just simply goes to the people. It's not constructed like something complex. It's often also, if I can add this, it's also based on the trance. So there's something you can follow, you can grab to in the rhythms. So it's something that really works out, even on the bodies. And we were talking about the bodies, and it can help. Some people who are maybe Occidentals more blocked. That she knows how to, and they know in Lemma how to,
loosen up.
Voilà. Thank you.
She also said something which was really beautiful. By saying it's simple doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah, voilà.
So
she said that.
Je pense que le percussionniste connaît quelque chose.
Yeah.
Pour moi, d'abord, c'est la musique, c'est être existé en tant qu'humain. Si on est musicien ou on chante, c'est connaître l'autre, ce que nous, on doit transmettre. Et on dirait ce moment où on vit à ce moment, les seules choses qui nous réunissent, c'est la musique. Parce qu'on a tellement de différences d'idées, et chacun pense. Je pense que le point de la musique, ça réunit les gens. Ça fait plaisir de réunir les gens, quelle que soit leur langue, quelle que soit leur religion. Et moi, j'ai joué 2 coups. Un coup, je joue chez moi. J'ai un centre culturel en Somaliland, comme un pays qui était tout détruit. J'ai construit un centre où on peut jouer, faire revivre la musique. Et puis il y a le groupe ici qu'on joue internationalement, on a beaucoup voyagé. Et même si on va de l'autre côté de l'Inde, on était au Japon, mais on chantait la musique et tout le monde dansait. Et c'est ça l'idée d'être artiste. C'est on est riche par rapport à les autres personnes qui vivent sur cette terre-là. On peut y aller quelque part, chanter, réunir les gens, et ça fait plaisir.
translation. No, well, she said that the most important. To be a musician is to just to exist as a human being, and it's the same that the colleagues told before, that even if you don't understand the language, but the whole public dancing all together, it's something very, very strong, and she has the feeling, especially nowadays, that music is the only thing we can really bring people together. So, and she talked about her in Somaliland. She created a cultural center. This is called Hidodol, which means keep culture. It's very similar to what I said before about to keep the roots of music. So she said that in this cultural center she has a band, she sings every week, and she tried to make music live again, because after the war everything was destroyed, there was no live music anymore. And when she traveled with us, it's the same feeling actually.
Not the same music.
But not the same music.
Yeah, in this case, the response about the music is there is a difference.
If Sahra, she's in Hargeisa, in Somaliland, she plays with their musician, their local musician, okay? But she is touring international touring. She plays with us, the three of us. We are French, come from France, and because music is also live history. So we met all together 15 years ago. We decided to make this band, to form this band. So the human story continue, but no, it's not the same form of music in Hargeisa or in international. But the spirit and the heart is the same for every musician or for Sahra.
Yeah, because this band is the story of the friendship. Friendship in music is very important. We can be professional, but
there's no we go in Tokyo, so we already play in Japan a few times, in Taiwan, in China, in Berlin, and there's no we will sing this song because the China like this thing or not. We don't format. I don't know format. There's no formatage for each country, for this country or this country. No, we go on stage avec ce que nous sommes.
You don't adapt to the country.
Well, you don't adapt for business or stuff. No. But sometimes bands do like this, but no, it's not our things.
On a dit, quand vous êtes parti au Japon, les Japonais se sont mis à danser.
Ah oui.
La musique, c'est un langage, même s'ils ne comprenaient pas.
Yeah.
The only thing important is how you say thank you.
She said that
or hello.
In Japan especially, people dance a lot, and it was very...
How do you say thank you in Abu Dhabi?
Shukran.
Only shukran?
Yeah.
There's no another...
Big different languages that you can say them here.
So, thank you maybe.
So we have one member of our band who just came in. It's Fahita, the youngest. Is one of the percussionists. The oldest is 82 and she's 28. So this is the youngest.
저희는 일단 한국에서 하고 외국에서 하고 전달하기 위한 어떤 목적이나 수단이 크게 바뀌지 않는데, 그 이유는 어차피 지금 저희가 하는 전통 음악에 있는 가사들은 한국 사람이 이해를 못하고 지금 현대에 쓰는 말들이 아니고, 그렇기 때문에 저희는 그냥 구두마기에서 이제 구슬하는 무녀들이 있잖아요. 무녀들이 각가지 어떨 때는 되게 이제 신을 나에게 데리고 오려고 하거나, 아니면은 다른 사람들의 복을 빌어주거나 그런 장면, 그 하나의 그룹에서 펼친 여러 가지 장면들이 있는데 그것들을 이제 최대한 소리로서 전달해 주려고 노력하는 거고, 정서적으로는. 그리고 음악적으로는 저희가 원래 이제 3분박의 음악이 거의 99%이거든요. 한국의 전통 음악들은. 그거를 거의 이제 익숙한 4박 계열의 리듬으로 과감히 좀 바꿨고, 또 하나는 커스튬에서 오는 시각적인 전달도 무시하지 못할 것 같아요. 그래서 이게 그 옷에서 묻어나오는 화려한 색감들이 되게 한국에서 오는 어떤 붓인데 이것이 되게 친숙하고 되게 발랄하고 재기발랄한 이런 이미지로 그 다가가게 하는 요소가 또 한 될 것 같고, 노래에서도 사실 노래가 처음에는 저희가 원래 있었던 곡을 그대로 가져와서 썼고, 두 번째는 저희가 곡을 이제 만들고, 세 번째는 그 두 가지를 이제 좀 믹스하고 있거든요. 만들면서 옛날의 사운드를 가지고 있으려고 노력하는 중인데, 그게 저희가 아까 말했듯이 말이 다르니까 현대에 저희가 쓰는 말로 가사를 붙이기가 좀 어렵더라고요. 그래서 그 옛날의 정서를 표현하기가 어려워요. 그런 것들을 좀 고민하고 있고 지금 여기까지.
So first of all, he said the lyrics is because it's so like it's like a different Korean language from what we use today. So it's more olden. So even Koreans don't understand it. I tried. I couldn't understand it. So it's not like difficult. So he said he instead of trying to communicate or like get the message across through language, they really tried to depict the scenes from the different shamanistic practices and kind of communicate that through music instead. And another thing that he also mentioned is all of the Korean traditional songs follow like 3 beats, but then they changed it to 4 beats so that now it's more like other countries can also enjoy it a little bit more. And also the costumes is another big thing. They thought like the Korean traditional clothing, which is hanbok, it has a lot of bright, playful colors. So he also wanted to showcase that through their stage costumes as well. And finally, he said their first album was completely like the original song itself, like the Korean traditional song. They didn't really change a lot. Their second album was like they changed the lyrics, they changed the beat, so they added more of their own taste to it. And the third one is like a mix in between the first and the second. So they're trying to preserve it, but also adding a little bit of modernness to it. So that's kind of still work in progress, and yeah, that's how they're kind of, I guess, making it more approachable to other international audience as well. Yeah.
Thank you. And I think we have time for about 2 questions from the audience, but I'll ask that if you could direct it to one panel member in the interest of time.
한글로 한국이 작은 나라고 지역마다 전통음악이 다르다고 하셨는데, 근데 아무래도 이제 남북이 갈려 있잖아요. 이제 모든 단원들이랑 이제 연주하시는 분들은 아마 저희 대한민국에서 전통 음악을 주로 배운 걸로 알고 있는데, 그럼 북한의 이제 함경도 음악을 받아들일 때 그 다른 점은 어떻게 좀 극복하는지, 어떻게 또 다른지. 저도 그 남한의 뭐 전라도 경상도 음악을 알지만 북한의 음악이 어떤 건지는 정확히 잘 모르고 있어서 그 부분은 어떻게 이렇게 융합을 시켰는지.
So his question was because in Korea, it's kind of divided. Like the cultural aspects and also like musical aspects are very particular to the region. And because they're divided, like North Korea and South Korea, he was wondering how like North Korean music would kind of be accepted to the South Koreans. Yeah.
지금 북한에서는 전통 음악이 남아있질 않아서 지금 북한이 어떻게 하고 있는지를 알 길은 없고, 다만 저희가 남한 그 한국 전쟁 때 이제 미처 이제 이남을 했다가 다시 가시지 못한 분들이나 아니면은 서울 경기 지역에서 옛날에 서울은 그 사대문 안쪽만 서울이었잖아요. 그래서 용산만 해도 서도라고 해서 그런 지역적인 범주로 봤을 때 이제 위쪽의 지역에 남아있는 그냥 민요들이나 그런 것들이 이제 지금 남아있는 것들로만 저희들은 받아들일 수밖에 없어요. 그런데 사실 이 북한 지역의 음악들은 전통 음악을 하고 있는 저희들한테도 이렇게 많이 공연되고 있는 음악이 아니라 저희한테도 처음에는 굉장히 생소했거든요. 그런 것들을 이제 계속 뭐 듣기도 하고 이제 뭐 그런 걸 분석했던 어떤 논문 같은 거나 이런 것들로 뭐 대강 스케일이라든지 아니면 또 다른 어떤 것들 파악해서 받아 소화했고, 이 구두음악으로 저희가 작품을 한 10여 년 전에 만든 적이 있는데 그때는 직접 이제 실제 문열을 찾아갔었어요. 가서 이제 여러 가지 얘기도 듣고 음악도 공부하고 그런 식으로 저희 이제 베이스를 다져나갔던 거고.
So he mentioned that unfortunately there's not a lot of traditional music from North Korea that is left till today, and so they kind of learned it through papers or like as I mentioned, he went to actual priestess who practices shamanistic music to like learn more about it. So that's how they kind of learned about it and also learned how to incorporate that into their music as well. So yeah.
Juste, c'est un héritage qu'il a eu par rapport à la chamanisme. Est-ce que c'est un héritage qu'il a eu ou est-ce qu'il a juste...
Souad is asking if the shamanistic side, is a heritage you got yourself, or is something that you went and searched for, as a person.
굿스러운 게 그 문화가 되게 태생적으로 like
You understand? If the shamanistic part, music, is something that he inherited himself, or he went and searched for it as a person. Is it a family story or it's
So apart from music, right?
Musically and non-musically.
Okay.
It must be.
굿스러운 음악이 가족에서 뭐 영향을 받는 거라든지 그런 건지 아니면은 직접 더 알고 싶어서 찾아가서 공부를 하신 건지.
가족은 상관이 없고 일단 한국의 고생은 이제 가족들이 이렇게 받는 경우들도 있기도 하고 아닌 경우들도 있고 그런 상관이 없었고요. 뭔가 새로운 음악을 나는 저희가 그 어떤 음악을 만드는 그 시점에서 다른 장르의 음악을 가지고 만든 것들은 많았는데 아까 말씀하신 것처럼 북한의 그 음악들은 굉장히 저희에게도 생소했기 때문에 이 음악을 가지고 했었던 분이 아무도 없었어요. 그래서 그걸 가지고 뭔가 새로운 소리를 만들고자 했던 저희 목적하고도 부합이 됐었던 것 같고 그래서 이제 남아있는 이제 그거를 실제로 하실 수 있는 분들을 찾아가서 공부도 하고 이제 음원도 많이 듣고 그래서 저희화 시켰던 거죠.
You mentioned it has nothing to do with like family or like it's not a family tradition. So as he mentioned before, like even the North Korean music aspects, he just like how he had to go and search for it himself. This was also something that they decided to kind of research on by interviewing and learning through that kind of process because they thought just like no band really incorporated North Korean music into their music. they wanted to make this like their unique identity by incorporating shamanistic music. It would like set them apart from other bands. So they thought it would be like a unique aspect.
하나 오해가 있을지도 몰라서 그러는 건데 저희 그 샤먼 뮤직이라고 하고 리추얼 뮤직이라고 했을 때의 약간 종교적인 의미보다는 놀이적인 의미가 좀 더 강한 거거든요. 그래서 그것이 저도 막 이렇게 다른 외국에 있는 뮤지션들을 봤을 때 뭔가 좀 차이가 있을 수 있겠구나.
Another like thing is shamanistic music in Korea is not more so in the religious aspect, but more like a playful, like gathering kind of aspect. So it's more of like a social meaning than religious meaning.
So we've heard a lot about like functions, like the function of the music, like what the music does. But I'm personally just very interested in musical meanings. And I gather there's at least 2 percussionists in the room. And my understanding of North African music, especially the Gnawa music, is that rhythmically you have kind of 2 time signatures going on at once. Like you can have 3 against 4 or 2 against 3, however you conceive of it. And I wonder if this has a meaning, musically speaking, over and against its function.
The kind of meaning you're looking for is a musical meaning or a functional meaning?
Yeah, it has an effect, maybe.
The coexistence of the 3 and 4 in our polyrhythmic. Yes, it's, if I talk of Tarantella, an example, pizzica, it's very, very much evident because musically speaking, you couldn't even tell if we are like on a 4/4 or in a 12/8 because the distinguish. I mean, in order to be able to exactly identify the difference, you would need to measure every single time that the shortest note happens. So like then it's 3, but then then it's 4, and then if you go with the swing, like all of the other music from the world, they got the swing, and then like for Gnawa, as 2 we have the low end of the drum, which is not on the 1. So like you have on Gnawa you have or with the rhythm simply like you have like correct? So with us, basically we have and then you have which is less evident than Gnawa because there isn't a kick drum or a low drum, but our tamburello gives the resonance of the low part when you don't hit at the maximum strength. So it's not pa and then ta ta. That's specified by the way that usually when you're accompanying pizzicas without tamburellos, they would clap twice. One which was stronger, and the other one which was less strong.
And alone goes in this gap.
Yeah, and then the voice would move, the singing would move from 2 to 3, like with really continuously. You can't really tell the difference, and I think that fascination that goes like it keeps you moving, your body wanting to move, and sometimes we do the same thing that they do. Like we took some songs that were in 3, and we moved them to 4. And it's something which is again, I think this relationship between 3 and 4, yeah, it has some musical meaning. I mean, it's really attractive to me.
I think your question, if it has a function, you said I think it maybe doesn't have a function. We are not ethnomusicologists, but it has an effect for sure.
Yeah.
The Gnawa rhythm has an effect. and if you listen to it, not during a show on stage, but on a ceremony during one night, for sure it has an effect.
Like trance music.
Yeah.
Or the 6/8 has a big effect also. 6/8 makes you move straight
before. Before, traditional music is never written.
Yeah.
So when the music was written, the question is, we divide in 3, 4, what we do. But before, it was doesn't exist. It's intellectual things. But actually, in rock, it's okay, it's 4, okay, you know what I mean. So now we have. If you want to write this effect, it's not possible. I think it's not possible. It's really possible. Sometimes I learn in West Africa, for example, there is a rhythm in 4, but the solo rhythm for the dance is in ternaire, quoi. Ternaire rhythm, you know, in 3. So, you know, it's a new question.
Et souvent pour l'oreille occidentale, des fois on joue des rythmes, ils ont l'impression que c'est faux, que ces rythmes sont faux. C'est pas juste, c'est pas le temps pour lui parler. C'est souvent, c'est en l'air. On a la note en l'air. Ça sonne faux.
J'ai des problèmes avec eux.
Souvent, ça sonne faux pour l'oreille occidentale, mais pour nous, on est nés dans cette culture et tout. Non, c'est pas faux. Quand on compte vraiment et tout, c'est le groupe, c'est ça, c'est la notion.
She says for the Occidental ear, when they hear us, they think it's false. Actually, we are mistaken in the rhythm. But actually, it is not. For us, it's not. And they say this is all the question of the groove, actually. You know, because if they count, they consider that, you know, the tempo comment is up, c'est ça.
La note, elle est en l'air. C'est pour ça que moi, je crois que c'est juste une adaptation de l'oreille. C'est comme un bébé, comment on élève notre oreille, comment on habitue notre oreille à écouter plusieurs rythmes et à accepter. Quand il y a le cerveau, il accepte ce rythme-là. Après le 4, pour nous, c'est facile. Par exemple, dans le ferda, dirigez-vous le rythme de ferda. Ça, c'est un 4 qui est un peu compliqué pour les autres. Ou que fait c'est un 5. Et c'est très difficile pour un occidental, beaucoup de mal à faire ce rythme parce que c'est sur le 5. Je pense que c'est une question d'habituer l'oreille.
She said that it's part of the
basically, some groups can sound wrong to the Western ears, but basically they're normal and very easily understood in their own countries. And then she played an example of a rhythm in 5, which is maybe to some cultures not really common. And so basically, but for them it's normal. So the idea, but she should also say that it's easy, on the other hand, to just let it go and go with it, with the flow, and then you would get it, without the need to understanding.
Without thinking.
Because it's something that we do as scholars, but then it's more natural than.
Maybe time for one more.
I think she had a question because I
Oh, moi? Ok. On a parlé la dernière fois à propos de le corps et vous avez dit que les Occidentaux ont le cerveau ou le corps c'est bloqué. Alors, et on a déjà parlé à propos de comment vous pouvez gérer un tour entre beaucoup des femmes et ils ont beaucoup de problèmes entre la musique et pour des autres. Alors c'est deux problèmes que je peux voir. C'est le problème de la musique et pour les Occidentaux de l'accepter, comme le rythme, des choses comme ça qui sont plus difficiles. Et c'est aussi la difficulté que c'est les différentes cultures qui peuvent ajuster peut-être dans les autres, comme les tours et les perspectives plus managériales ou organisation, ce aspect. Alors la question pour tous, si vous voulez prendre comment vous voulez, parce que je sais que c'est un peu difficile pour moi de le poser correctement ou précisément, c'est est-ce qu'il y a des problèmes ou des difficultés que vous avez voulu ou peut-être vu en général dans vos tours ou dans vos expériences, et est-ce que ça a commencé d'être plus facile ou est-ce qu'il y a une progression, une évolution avec ça?
We need to translate for you. Please.
I can translate.
Yeah, do it.
If something happened during the tour or something.
Non, elle va le dire en anglais parce que là, c'était pas.
Oui, d'accord. Pardon, c'est juste beaucoup de pensées, c'est difficile de m'exprimer correctement. So my question was about the difficulties that you can face coming from the perspective of like transcribing or translating ethnic music and musical rhythms that are different for other people to accept, especially the Western, the Occidental that was mentioned here, and how you kind of like have seen that progress in the audience or in your travels, and also in a different conversation we've had, we talked about other difficulties that can like just come up with having like a group of women in Lemma come together, and how that was difficult to arrange, but also how that translates to maybe difficulties that are based on like cultural expectations and how those translate into different contexts, or just speaking on your earlier question about how do you make up for that difference, that cultural difference, either in music or otherwise. It is a very yes. You should not have limits to
I think there is a.
Il y a une chose. D'abord, la culture lui-même, tout doucement, ça disparaît. Parce qu'il y a tellement de machines qui font tellement belle voix, et les gens, ils enregistrent avec les voix, les chansons, la musique, et ils ferment le micro et ils chantent là-dessus. Et il faut se battre qu'on ne perde pas notre identité. Parce que inviter les gens qui chantent des chansons culture ou des musiques culturelles, c'est prendre le risque. Comme ici c'est un lieu des étudiants, ça donne l'inspiration de donner quelque chose parce qu'ils sont l'esprit ouvert et ils sont des comment dire, les gens qui vont gouverner demain. Et ils savent ce que nous, on transmet. Mais c'est vraiment très dur. Si le pays ou le gouvernement ou les gens qui croient la musique traditionnelle, c'est notre racine, si les gens là, ils nous invitent pas, ça veut dire qu'on perd notre identité elle-même.
Mais tu veux dire, parce que la question, and then we'll translate, la question c'était comment tu subis les choses quand tu vas en dehors.
En dehors.
Voilà, donc ce que tu défends là vraiment c'est par rapport au fait que voilà, ces gens-là doivent continuer à inviter parce qu'ils ne considèrent pas assez, tu trouves?
Oui. Parfois on va à un lieu, il n'y a personne qui t'écoute.
Voilà.
Mais nous, comme on est déterminé à transmettre ça, ça ne nous pose pas de problème. On se fait plaisir, on fait notre travail. Ils écoutent pas, on repart. Ben, on n'a pas le choix.
Oui.
Mais il faut percer. Hein.
Oui, l'importance, je parle de l'importance de...
First, you talk about a lot of singers now. You can sing in a microphone, let the computers do. correct your voice. Even now, the artificial intelligence can compose a whole album.
Yeah.
Okay, no need culture, no need brain and creativity. And the problem that Sahra says that in Somalian, some singer, if you put them on stage, they don't know how to sing because they just do a video and the machine do everything. So when you invite a band playing live, there is a risk that things is not perfect, that some beats are it's complicated, this beat, it's wrong, but it's a risk to take. So when she sings, people want to listen to great, they don't want to listen to, or they just want to dance on the
Yes.
Okay, and it's very important that place, she talked also about this place, place like this, organize this kind of event, because it fits the way that the roots are not lost.
Yeah, preservation of the root. So thanks to them.
Moi, je répondrais le problème qu'on a, c'est on fait des musiques un peu rares, un peu. C'est pas les musiques industrielles, c'est des musiques très très rares. Et le problème, ce qu'on a, c'est on nous met dans des cases. C'est ça le problème. On est mis dans des cases. Par exemple, quand on fait un festival musique traditionnelle, allez hop, on sort de la case, on va inviter Lemma, on va inviter. Et ça, c'est vraiment, pour nous, c'est pas facile parce que déjà, on a beaucoup moins de travail que les musiciens qui font de la musique industrielle, la techno, on a énormément de mal à travailler et puis ça nous fait du mal, comme elle disait mon amie, c'est pouvoir sauvegarder cette musique. Si on ne l'exporte pas, si on ne fait pas écouter notre voix, ben cette musique, elle est condamnée, elle va mourir. Et c'est un vrai problème. C'est les organisateurs, c'est question de cases, c'est ça qui est dérangeant.
So Souad says what we're doing in our rare music actually. It's really rare, but the problem is that we always we are put in boxes. Like when they need some traditional thing, and maybe I would add North African, representations. They will invite us, and also consider that it's folklore, and I don't know how to say this in English, voilà. And they often want also that the outfits would fit what they think they would love to have on stage, but that's my extension. But then it's too rare actually, so it's hard to tour. I can attest that, but the presenters, the people who schedule, things should really take in consideration that it's rare, that it's precious, and that they have a part also in the preservation of these cultures actually. So it's a responsibility that they have. So they should, and she said the curiosity is saving us, but I'm really sad, she says, that it's so rare. But then...
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Thanks to big.
I feel like the conversation is just starting, but the conversation will continue on stage over the next 2 nights, where you all have a very, very rare opportunity to see these 4 bands. So tomorrow night is Lemma and CGS, and then Saturday night is Sahra Halgan and ADG7. We also have a workshop, a hands-on musicians workshop on Saturday afternoon at noon. You can sign up on our website. But it is so great to have this kind of conversation flowing across so many